Hello, the purpose of this video is to tell you all about um, three compulsory elements of your foundation year: English language and study skills, the independent study project, and personal development. Now, I see these as really central to your education during the foundation year at Queen Mary. And I'd like you to watch this video before you watch any of the videos about your subjects that you're going to take, your subject modules, or your overall pathway overview videos. Okay, so I'll start by talking about English language and study skills, and you'll hear us referring to this very often as ELSS. So English language and study skills is a core module, which means that every student on the foundation year has to take it, and every student has to pass it in order to complete the year successfully. So your ELSS grade is important, and it's also, as we've seen over the last few years, a very good indicator of how well you'll do on the foundation year overall. So this is partly because ELSS is all about developing academic skills that you'll need on other modules. So students who do well on ELSS are doing well because they're developing those tools that are going to help them achieve the highest grades elsewhere. But it's also because ELSS is a module which rewards you for doing the work. So it rewards you for hard work, and it's perhaps not surprising that hard-working students tend to do pretty well overall grade-wise. So ELSS has 3 or 4 live sessions per week, depending on the week and depending on your group. There will always be materials and tasks that you need to work through on QM Plus, and you'll do that in your own time. And then the live sessions will involve discussions, and there'll be opportunities to discuss your work and look at the strengths and weaknesses of what you've done so far. A lot of the content is what we call task-based. So we ask you to do pieces of writing, typically about something that you've read, and then we respond to how well you've done that task in order to decide what we kind of teach you, if you like. There isn't a kind of strict syllabus where we say in week 1 you'll do this on Monday, this on Wednesday, this on Thursday. We work with and around your abilities and your needs, and accordingly we teach you in groups. So let's say if we had 90 students on the program this year, and we would divide you into 6 groups with about 15 in each group. We tend not to put any more than 15 students in a group, and I've put on my slide here that we group you according to language level. Now, just to explain what that means, every year on the foundation year we have a mix of students, some of whom have English as their first language, some of whom have been educated in English already. English might not be your first language, but it might be a language that you speak with some of your relatives. So a lot of students on the program don't really need any language development work. Everyone always needs skills development work. You all need to learn how to write an essay for a university assignment, and that's something that none of you will have done it before. Whatever you've done in school, it hasn't prepared you for university writing, and that's fine. That's what we're here for. But there's a real range usually of students who speak English as their first language and students for whom English is a second or even third or fourth language, where some language development is still necessary. So our entry requirement for the foundation year, the lowest English language level we can accept is an IELTS 5.5. And on some pathways it's IELTS 6. And now to get onto a degree programme at Queen Mary, so in the schools of economics and finance and business management, for direct entry onto a degree, students need an English level of IELTS 6.5. And for all other schools in the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, so for politics and international relations, for law, for literature and so on, students need an IELTS 7. So the idea is, I mean, very comfortably, if you start with IELTS 5.5 or IELTS 6, by completing the foundation year properly and really engaging with it, your English is going to improve significantly just through the task that we set you. But obviously, there are a number of you who would already meet the English language requirements of an undergraduate degree program. So we design English language and study skills with this in mind. If we have 6 groups in any one year, we might find that 3 or 4 of the groups consist only of students who already have IELTS 6.5 or IELTS 7, and so need to develop academic skills but not necessarily language skills so much. And we might have a group or 2 who need a lot more work on language development. So I've said on the slide that we group you according to language level, but we also try to get a good balance of nationalities, of gender, and we look at kind of what makes an effective group dynamic in a classroom, and we try to manage that for the benefit of everyone. Okay, so you will be put in an English language and study skills group alongside students with a similar level of linguistic competence as yourself. You might be a native speaker of English, and fine, that doesn't mean that the other students in the group will all be native speakers of English, but that's exactly the same as when you go onto an undergraduate program. Those of you who need more English language work will be in a group of students who are like you, and we will give you more time and more attention and more language-based development to supplement your studies. But primarily what we do in English language and study skills is to develop academic skills, particularly in terms of communicating to a university audience, whether that's in speaking or predominantly in writing. We assess you. So I said that the module is task-based, and the assessments are designed so that you learn from completing the assessments. So we'll actually start the semester with a kind of 2-week project. It will be a group project to give you an opportunity to work together, make some friends, find your way around the kind of online learning resources that we need you to use. So it takes you beyond orientation and into what it means to be an effective foundation year student at Queen Mary. You're going to work together on a project that we're going to introduce in a week or so. That will take up our first 2 weeks, and then we're going to start work on our extended essay. So we call it an extended essay because for many students it will be the longest essay they've written. Some of you may have already written more than 1,500 words for an essay, but you won't have had to do that to get onto this program. So yeah, the first major assessment we give you for the whole program is the ELSS extended essay. So it's a 1,500 word essay. We give you some articles to read, and we're going to go through the steps of how to read effectively as a university student, how to think critically about your reading, how to evaluate the quality of what it is that you're reading, and how to start forming your own position. So you'll notice that I use the word position and not the word opinion. And I think the word opinion is a little bit dangerous. We often are not interested in your opinion because your opinion is something that is already formed before you come here and is not necessarily informed. So opinions are often kind of based on feelings, but we want your essays and the answers you give to questions in tests, exams, and assignments to be informed by reading and thinking. And that's why I tend to use the word position, because we want you to take a position in relation to all of the different sources of information that you encounter, whether that's text that you read or videos that you watch or lectures that you work through, or even ideas that you meet in seminar discussions. Okay, so you're going to go through this process of reading in order to arrive at a kind of an intelligent and refined and informed position from which you can answer questions, and particularly answer questions in writing. The extended essay takes you through the process of reading, thinking about your reading, and then starting to write an essay based on your reading. In around week 7, you will submit your first draft of your extended essay. So it's really important, I think, that we give you a chance to, not a chance, we don't want you to do it badly, but we don't want to just say, okay, write your first essay and we're going to grade you on it. What we want you to do is follow a process of that we're teaching you how to write an essay, and you submit your first essay, but you get feedback on that first essay and you get some time to make improvements before you submit your final essay and get a grade for it. And I hope you can see how that process is going to help you. You're completing an assignment there, but it's actually a learning process, and we're actually much more interested in the way that you go through that process necessarily than the final piece of work that comes at the end of it. So we assess your essay, but we also ask you to submit a portfolio of work. So portfolios of work are assignments where you collect pieces of work that you do through the semester and then put them together into one online page and then submit that via QM+, and we grade you on that. And in ELSS, the portfolio documents the completion of your extended essay. A couple of other things as well, but by the end of the semester, your portfolio will show us, and it will also kind of demonstrate to yourself the work that you've done in completing the essay. And we actually give much greater weighting to your portfolio than your essay itself. So you could, if you submit a really good essay but there's nothing in your portfolio, you'll fail the module. Okay, if you do all of the work and we can see you kind of making progress through the semester, but your essay still isn't great, you could get a really good mark for the portfolio, not such a great mark for your essay, but overall your mark from the module will be quite good. At the end of this module, we also have a test where you're kind of going through the same task but in a shorter period of time and writing within a time limit. But again, it's all about developing the skill of being able to write an essay in response to a question, and with your answer informed by reading. Okay. Now, as well as that, we'll have we'll have group work, we'll have discussions. I think you're going to find it really interesting. On QM Plus, I'm sharing a video with some previous students talking about ELSS and what they gained from completing the module. And one other thing I should add is that as part of ELSS, we also offer some assignment writing workshops through the semester, because actually what we teach you in ELSS through the extended essay is actually us showing you how to approach your assignments in other modules. Okay, so if you're taking politics, history, and business, you're going to have to write essays for all of those subjects, and they're going to be slightly different requirements for each essay. But the fundamental act of writing about your reading will be at the heart of those assignments. We have some separate workshops for you. They're kind of like one-off workshops where you can look at essays in different subject areas that were written by students from previous years, and you can see the difference between like an essay that gets an A and an essay that gets a B, and in some cases an essay that gets a C. So I do hope that you will participate in these workshops online. They will be tasks that you work through at your own pace. They won't be live sessions, but you can have consultation with teachers live about what you see in the workshops. But that's going to help you, I think, not only to complete your assignments for your subject modules, but also really importantly to understand the standards that are required. Okay, you might be coming onto this foundation year thinking, okay, I need to get an A. Yeah, I can get an A, but what does that mean? You're completely new to this course. You need to know what our standard is for an A grade and a B grade and so on. Okay. One more thing I should add maybe about ELSS is that you'll get to know your ELSS tutor very well. That will probably be the person who knows you best and who you know best by the end of the foundation year. It's probably going to be the person that you look to write you references in the future. So be nice to them. They're all really experienced and caring and committed teachers, so you're going to love your ELSS tutor. Your ELSS tutor will also be your academic advisor, so you'll have tutorials with them on a regular basis about not just your work on ELSS, but on the bigger picture of the program at large. Okay, so ELSS is what you do in semester 1. In semester 2, you stay largely in the same groups, and in most cases with the same teacher. And you do a module called the Independent Study Project. So the Independent Study Project is usually really popular with foundation year students. There's an image here where you can see 4 students from last year. This image was designed by last year's students as a representation of the Independent Study Project that we could use as a kind of header banner image on our QM Plus page for the Independent Study Project. So you can see them being good students using the library, writing by hand, typing, and kind of the Independent Study Project involves those things. It's the core semester 2 module. So again, that means you have to take it, you have to pass it. Your grade in the Independent Study Project determines whether or not you can progress to a Queen Mary degree or not. Most subjects require you to get at least 60% in this module. You'll have 2 or 3 live sessions per week, although particularly as the module progresses, more and more of those will be one-to-one tutorials or small group tutorials. And the project involves writing a 3,000-word essay on a topic of your choice based on some library research. So we assess you on your 3,000-word essay, but we also ask you to keep a project management portfolio, which is assessed. So again, you could write, if you submit a really good essay but no portfolio, you risk failing the module. Again, we're interested in the process as well as the end product. You'll see that this is kind of like a repeat of the extended essay. In semester 1, you write 1,500 words. Semester 2, it's 3,000 words. So there's a lot more work involved. And also, there's a lot more responsibility for you. In semester 1, we set the topic, we choose the text that you read, and we give you those. And we actually tell you, don't read anything else apart from those. Don't use anything beyond our set text for your essay. Semester 2 is different. Semester 2 is where you learn to be an independent and effective undergraduate student. You're going to identify a topic that you want to research and write about. You're going to be led by your interests and hopefully your passions and curiosity. Curiosity is really key here. And we're going to guide you. We'll give you lots of support and we'll teach you through this process how to do research, how to find relevant articles in the library, how to approach a task like this, which is pretty significant and involves a lot of reading and managing your work and managing your time. What we find is once you can complete the independent study project, which you will, I think you can handle pretty much anything that the first 2 years of an undergraduate degree will throw at you. Very few students would write a 3,000 word essay in their first year at university, and I can't think of any that would write an essay that's on a topic of their choice with a question that they have formulated with the help of a tutor. So it's quite intensive, but I think you'll find it really interesting because you'll be exploring and writing about a topic of your choice. Finally, I'm going to talk to you about personal development. Personal development is a compulsory element of the International Foundation year, but there's no assessment attached to it. The objectives of personal development are traditionally we've used it to help with progression and to help you to think about the degree subjects you want to study next year. We're really interested in developing transferable skills, and making you kind of a more rounded individual beyond just your the studying of your specific subject. We are expecting you to be successful Queen Mary graduates in the future. And at Queen Mary, just like with many other universities, we have a set of objectives for all of our students that we want them to have particular attributes and qualities and abilities when they graduate. So when they go out into the world as Queen Mary students, they can say, I'm a Queen Mary student and I can do this, 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 and I care about this, this, and that. These are called Queen Mary graduate attributes. We'll be exploring them during the first semester, but personal development really plugs into the Queen Mary graduate attributes, and by developing your skills in the direction of the graduate attributes, we're adding abilities and qualities to you that will make you a really successful undergraduate student in the future. It's something I feel really proud of on our foundation year is I know that students who finish the foundation year and then stay at Queen Mary are much more likely to be involved in the university community in a positive and productive way than any other type of student. So if you look at lists of course representatives from years 1, 2 and 3 in this coming academic year, you will see a huge number of students relatively who have previously done the foundation year. When you look at student societies, you will find that former foundation year students are much more likely to have an active role in a society. We've got former students who have started societies and been really successful in doing that. And then this all builds towards a very employable individual further down the line. I don't want you to think about your careers maybe just yet, but this is the first step to giving you advantages in your future life that I think you'll really value. And personal development, I think, is where we start influencing you to feel like a member of the university community, and to feel like a member of a broader nationwide and international community, in fact. So yeah, we're providing opportunities for you to develop personal, interpersonal, intercultural skills through a range of enrichment activities, most of which are organised by my colleague Will Hutton, who is our progression coordinator. And in following and completing personal development sessions and tasks, you're going to develop your knowledge and understanding of London, the United Kingdom, the European Union, and the wider world. There's a couple of images here on this slide that might not be possible this year in the current circumstances, but we're going to replicate everything that we can online for you. There's an image at the top of a debate between a team from the Queen Mary Foundation year and their counterparts at King's. Underneath there's a photo of me and my colleague Tom with a group of students in Bloomsbury on our way to the British Museum via a number of other kind of interesting stops. You can see that one of the students is possibly more interested in modelling than in listening to me, but that's absolutely fine. Okay, so that's a taste of what's to come in terms of personal development, the independent study project, and English language and study skills. Personal development sessions, we'll have live sessions on Wednesday afternoon. There'll be online activities to complete at your own place, at your own pace, in your own place. And if and when it's possible, we'll be trying to organise trips out and about in London, which is what we would do in a regular year. There's a photo that you can see on the screen right now of 3 students at the Houses of Parliament, which would be one of the places that we would typically visit on a personal development trip. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention. The next thing I'd like you to do is on QM Plus, I'm sharing some videos from Tower Hamlets projects that we've done in the past couple of years. These are group projects that students have done at the very beginning of the foundation year. I've told you that we're setting you a group project for the first couple of weeks of this year, so it won't be the same task that students have completed in the past, but I just thought you'd be interested to see what students have done in group projects in the last couple of years. Tower Hamlets is our neighbourhood in London. It's the borough in which you can find not only the Tower of London, but also Mile End and Queen Mary University of London. Tower Hamlets is also where you find Canary Wharf, Spitalfields, Brick Lane, Whitechapel. It's a really interesting part of London, and the Tower Hamlets project allows students to explore our neighbourhood in a bit of depth, and by watching the videos you'll see some of the things that they've learned in previous years in relation to a range of different subjects. Okay, have a look at some of those videos that I've put on QM Plus, and then you can find out more about your foundation year pathways, and that will enable you to start choosing your electives. Okay, thank you very much.